Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner. This is a review for the Housewives of Atlanta season 16, the season finale. Okay, and I feel like it was a failed season. Yes, we had some good moments, but I mean, we waited, over a year for this cast. We waited a long time for the show to come back, and it came back, and I'm like, this all y'all got? And I blame Bravo, I blame Brit, I blame Kenya a little bit, okay? I even blame Phaedra because she came back for no reason, okay? Anyway, but let's get into this episode review, okay? Look, y'all make sure to like this video, okay? Subscribe to my channel, share, and also comment in the comment section. Y'all know it's always other content up on my channel, so go watch the other stuff round now. Okay, I always make sure to have content for everyone, lives and premieres and all of that. So be sure to go over to my channel after watching this one. Go watch everything else. Okay, now it is 2:18 in the morning, but I'ma still pop on camera a little bit. Okay, but I have a lot of graphics for y'all because I did not want to be on camera because it's 2 a.m. But I said, girl, show your face. Okay, but yeah, for me, this season 16, it had so much promise. The best thing that we got from this season was really Angela. You know what I'm saying? I think she was a breath of fresh air. She was something brand new, but felt really vintage of the Housewife franchise. And I know she brought up how she used to be, well, not used to be, but they wanted her on prior seasons. I feel like if we had gotten Angela years ago, it wouldn't have been this Angela. Okay, if her and Charles was beefing, Charles was out there cheating, that wasn't the time for her to be here. She here at the right moment. Okay, I feel like Phaedra coming back was a failure. I feel like Portia coming back and not being able to discuss nothing about her divorce, the marriage, the house, the car, nothing was a failure. Okay, we didn't even really get much about Drew and Ralph's divorce because Ralph was in the basement. Okay, we rarely ever saw Shamea's husband. Okay, Cynthia was only a friend of and popping up once or twice. Child, we Cynthia probably came to what 4 events this whole season. Okay, we can't stand Brit at all. I mean, we like Kelly. Kelly was great as well. With Kelly, girl, I got some words for Kelly. Okay, but overall, this season to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 5 because I already feel like they cut out a lot of Kenya in the beginning. They then had to re-edit. They then had to bring Phaedra in for the last 2 weeks. I think they tried to bring Cynthia in more, but she said, I'm a friend of. I'm holding a peach, but I'm a friend of. And it was just a lackluster season because of all the editing around stuff they had to do. So I mean, a 5 ain't bad. It's not good either. It's not dismal. It's not like it's not going to doom the franchise. It had great potential, and if the whole situation between Kenya and Britt had never happened, it probably would have been a better season. And we did not need Phaedra back. Okay, but I'm leaving that be anyway. I forgot about Shamea. Shamea didn't have a failed season, but Shamea absolutely started off great and then flopped because she kept referring back to Portia's friend, seeing her probably lying and maybe talking to the other girls about Portia and then lying about it or whatever. It's like, girl, you're a flip flopper. I hope not. The beginning of the episode, okay, starts off because we know in the end of last week's episode, we found out that Portia's cousin Londi died. Now, look, I'm be honest, y'all, and don't be mad at me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. A part of me feel like them covering Londi passing away as if we knew her on the show almost feels like Portia using the cousin's death Because we never saw Londi on the show with Portia when Portia was on the show. We didn't meet Londi until Portia did the the show with her and what's the people name? With her, Simon and Dennis, her family shows. We got one season of Londi. So a part of me felt like you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's sad she passed away. It's very sad that she passed away. But part of me feel like Portia using it a little bit, because what else does she have to talk about? I'm not saying she don't love her cousin. I'm not saying she not sad or whatever. All I'm saying is I don't know. Okay. Anyway, but they asking Phaedra to help. Now, when Phaedra said, I'm on the usher board of heaven, so people got to see me for a seat, girl. Bye. You and Willie Watkins, stop it. Anyway, we found out that Lauren was actually on the phone with Londi when she passed away. Now, we still don't have a direct, cause of death, but that's not our business. But it sounds like, because it doesn't sound like she was sick. It sounds like it was some kind of sudden um, health emergency that happened while on the phone with Lauren. And then, because Portia said, I was at work, child, and we found out that she was in distress. And then 2 hours later, we found out she had passed away. So either way it goes, it's very, very sad and unfortunate. Lauren I think Lauren looked like she's like mourning. Not that mourning don't have a look, but I'm just saying. But she also said how she was closer to Londi, how they were kind of raised together as kids. So prayers for Portia and the whole family. Okay, I hope they lay her to rest. Child, when Portia, oh, these are some butterflies. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, well, Portia, you can have a butterfly, a butterfly release in honor of Londi. And when Portia said, oh, well, the butterflies come back. When Phaedra said, girl, we can't train butterflies, I said, girl, you know what, Phaedra, that was funny. I cackled. Because you can't train. No, look, you can't train the butterflies, Portia. Portia's still stupid. Okay, but again, now we didn't see them do a butterfly. We didn't see any service stuff for Londi. We just seen Portia tell the people Londi died. She told Phaedra Londi died. And then she came here to say, we can have a butterfly release. And that's why I feel like it's weird that this was covered on this show, because we didn't know Lonnie on this show. But I digress. Anyway, we didn't see Angela. Angela went to go see her therapist. Her and Charles share a therapist. They need some help around here, okay? They've been going to the therapist for a while. I said, oh, look, nice old little white lady. Must be nice. Um, Therapy is great. She brought up how, look, it's a lot going on. Okay, I'm in deep with these properties that won't sell, and it's affecting my marriage. You know what I'm saying, and I feel like I have to lose the houses to not lose my marriage. Okay, because it was a whole lesson, child, a whole lesson to be learned to trust who you trust, because what Charles told me, don't do it, and I did it anyway. Now on either I think it was on Watch What Happened, bullshit, no, on the Carlos King interview, she brought up how she was told, okay, there's this investor person or whatever who's overseas. They're looking to get some properties here. If you buy these properties, okay, when this man come back to town, he can buy all of it. And then that didn't happen. So she kind of listened to someone else who did not know what they were doing, and she got in over her head, and then boo pow pow, she bought 5 houses. I think lost 2 of them. She brought that up on the Carlos King interview, how 2 of the houses went into foreclosure because she just, you know what I'm saying? But again, her saying here, I have to learn to trust who I trust. Because Charles told me, don't do it, don't do it. I did it anyway. I also had him invest as well. So not only did I lose money, he lost money. And that's a hard strain on any relationship. When you tell someone, hey, I don't think you should do this, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then they do it, they put your money in it, and they lose not only their own money, but your money too. So, I get her something like that's a strange child, okay? She also brings up on the pad that she didn't trust Charles. We know, we are aware. Charles cheated in the past, okay? We know that it is what it is, but she's like, I had to build up trust in him, and I trust him now. And the one time I should have trusted his word, and I did not, and now look what happened, okay? She also brings up the whole, the guy walking up saying Charles was cheating, and how she asked Charles, he said, I know someone's after me. I feel like someone's targeting me. And so it's weird that someone would come up to you and say that and whatnot. Okay. And her issue, like her issue was, I don't want anyone targeting Charles. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anyone trying to come for me, but doing it through him. Okay, because Charles said, whoever told you I was at some restaurant with some lady is a cotton picking lie. Okay, hold on, it's a fat Faison lie if you ask me. Because Charles said, "Bitch, it wasn't me." Where you at?
Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar.
Charles said it was a fat Faison lie. Okay, it wasn't me, Shaggy. And again, because they're not ignoring him cheating in the past. Like currently, I'm not cheating now. No ma'am. Okay. So again, I'm gonna figure out who's fucking with my husband. Anyway. Now Shamea has a little showcase, right? Because Shamea said she do music. Now I know she put out that relax, is it called relax? No. I'ma handle that. Baby, sit back. Is it called Never Had? I think it's called Never Had. Okay. Anyway, she got the one song out, Never Had. I think there's another song out now. It's called T-shirt. I haven't heard T-shirt, but she performed it at this showcase, and whatnot. So we seen the people was around there. Okay, she brought up how, I ain't did a show in years, child. With social media these days, you ain't gotta wait for no label at all. Okay. Now again, Cynthia showed up, but she had to leave because she's like the show, I guess, running late. And so I had to leave, child, but she talked to Shimmy before she left. So we see, Brit around there, we see Phaedra, we see Angela, Kelly, and then Drew. Child, when when Brit walked in, her and Kelly are not talking. Like it's a clear cut, bitch. I don't like you. Get out my face and whatnot. Okay. Anyway, now Portia did not show up. If my best good old friend, even though we know that Brit told Portia recently that Shamea was still talking about her, I feel Portia didn't show up because Portia's being petty because she feel like, okay, you talking shit, I'm not gonna show up. Or it could be because Blondie passed away recently, so she's not going to people's events. But if my best friend or good friend, a long-standing friend, is having a musical showcase for their music, I'm gonna try to show up because it's not as if like Karla, Karla, my best friend, Karla has shows all the time. You know, she doesn't have this one show here. No, Karla is always, she is a consistent performer. She has shows regularly. Okay. She has her own shows where she's doing her own music. She has other shows like corporate event. Like she sings all across the state of Michigan and elsewhere as well. So Karla is always having some kind of show. I can go to all of them. Okay. But if she had when she has something that's like a big deal, I'm gonna pop up. Okay. So Shamea having her showcase and she ain't been doing music, whatever, you should show up. But again, Portia said no. The other one was there. Now it was a really empty house, and I don't mean that in any mean way. I mean it was like friends and family. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no paid concert. She paid for some friends to come, maybe a fan or two and whatnot, and that was it. Now she came out in a little trench coat. I said, "Girl, it's you know what I'm saying." It was like a thriller trench coat or whatever, the little boots, shots, and she had some folding chairs and she had some dance. I said, folding chairs, y'all can get no good old look. Ain't nothing wrong with folding chairs. However, I feel like for performance, like get some other kind of chairs. You know, just pop a different chair in there. I don't know to do something. Anyway, She then went and had up some piano lessons, okay, playing the piano stuff and whatnot. I said, "Oh, okay." Now she sang the piano, the T-shirt song, and was in a like a wedding dress, but made of T-shirts. I said that was a choice. That was a choice, and I'm not saying it was a bad choice or a good choice. It was just a choice. Now, because again, she's a singer. Okay, I'm a singer. We'll go ahead and sing something. And she went ahead and she sung something in the t-shirt dress at the piano, surrounded by some roses. And I said, okay, that's fine. That's good if that's what you want. Again, it was a weird showcase for me. And I know the shirt is called like I'm in your t-shirt and whatever, but you did a t-shirt wedding dress? Okay, Shamea. I mean, it was just different in my opinion. But she paid for the event so she can have what she want to have. We can't judge her. That's what it was. Anyway, she also was in. She was another dancer, you know, in some little shorts and a little and some shiny boots. Okay, so boots and that's fine. And then she was in a little outfit as well, and she was singing. We then see her in a big ass hat. Okay, and RL from Next was around there with her too. Now I don't know if was he singing because we didn't hear him. Okay, we didn't hear him. And then as she's performing, we see the people in the front row with Shamea. I said, who gave us Shamea signs? And where did people come from? Because they weren't there before. Did they come late? Maybe there was, I don't know. I didn't see people, So I said, who gave them this girl? Y'all hire people to hold up Shamea signs? Okay. Anyway, she was then dancing in the aisle, on in the thing, whatever, twerking. I said, "Are you twerking?" Okay, a t-shirt twerk. She again, she changed outfits. We see her. We finally seen her. Child, look, I am still a person who was aggravated with the fact that Shamea is a full-time housewife with an active, loving husband at home who we never see. I'm like, your husband need to show up a little bit more. And I'm not saying he don't love and support her. All I'm saying is, and I get they said before the reason she did not do the show before because he did not want to do the show. And I guess maybe the compromise was we'll do the show and they can see me twice. Okay, I'll pop up on the first day, I'll pop up on the last day, and when you have doctor appointments, I'll pop up then or on FaceTime. But like, I don't think we've ever even heard him speak, unless like he's talking to her, but it's not like, oh, it's and I'm still upset that he did not show up for the reunion just in solidarity of his wife being a housewife. And usually, if you're married, the husband is there. Now, maybe he was backstage. Maybe he just did not want to put a suit on and come on. I don't know. But again, he came to the little showcase and said, I love you, baby. And I love you too. And gave her some flowers. And then she twerked in the audience. Okay, so again, trench coats, rhinestone outfit, a t-shirt, wedding dress, okay, folding chairs, piano and candles and roses. Girl, oh, we hope it don't catch a fire. A big ass hat, and then twerking in the aisleway of the event space. Okay, good. Now the girls was there, and they said, "Oh, that was a nice little event." Okay, she did. She okay. It was cute, I said that's fine and whatnot. So while Shamea changing clothes, we see Angela, Kelly, Drew, Phaedra, and Brit. Now again, remember Phaedra ain't been on the show but 2 days. Okay, it just feels awkward. You know what I'm saying? So they all said, "Oh, she spent some money on this." I guess so. She spent some money on this event or whatever, but she needs some better practicing. Okay, her voice cracked a little bit. Now even Shamea said at one point her voice had cracked. Look, that happens. Sometimes singers' voices crack. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, but again, she'll get better as she keeps going. And I'm like, it's fine. Okay, so then the girls was talking or whatever. So, Anthem bring up, oh, yeah, did y'all get the invitation to my, and, me and Charles, this charity event coming up or whatever? It's to feed the children, child, to feed the children and homeless folks. Did y'all got the thing? Yeah, we gonna come. You need us to do anything? Like, we can probably, you know what I'm saying, post about donating on our social media. Drew then asked Kelly, well, how many followers do you have? Oh, about I feel like 150. Child Brit messy ass then say, "Oh, those aren't real followers," because she bought, because she got like 80,000 followers in like one day, so they're pregnant. I'm like, now why would you say that? First of all, bitch, if you know we not cool, and someone asked me something about me, shut up. But when she said, "Oh no, those aren't," I said, "No, they not real."
Why would she say that? Like,
Kelly was like, "Well, bitch, say what now? What you mean my followers ain't real? What do you mean?" Now, Kelly said, "Wow, I did not know I had a stalker who know what changes happen on my social media. I guess you're in competition with me." I said, "What is going on here?" Now, I went and looked up their follower count. I'm nosy, okay? Kelly has today, as in today, I don't know what it was then. Today, Kelly has 217,000. Drew has 775,000. Brit has 189,000. Angela has 63,000. Well, 63.5 thousand. Phaedra has 3 million. I don't know how many Portia has. The Portia blocked me. So Portia blocked me recently because I don't know what I said about Portia to make her block me. So I couldn't see what her number count was. I didn't say much. You know what I'm saying? I maybe call anyway, I'm stop. But yeah, so from this group, you know, Phaedra has the most. Now I know Angela doesn't post much. So her not having many our followers kind of makes sense. I feel like she just started her page and whatnot. Anyway, so they're like back and forth, like Brit and no, Brit and Kelly are kind of back and forth about followers or whatever. And she was like, and let's see, look, can you guys just how about everybody just post to their followers to donate, y'all? It don't matter how many, just post to whoever, okay? And Kelly then said, well, make sure that you're very specific on how much to donate because some of us don't know how to donate. I said, girl, having to say because some of us do not know how to donate. And it was like, Brit, because Brit gave 250 to Grenada. Now again, did she give the charity again? I don't know, but Kelly said let her know how much because you might not get nothing. Okay. I was like, girl, messy. Now we then see Shamea comes over and whatnot, and they all, oh, you did great, girl. Congratulations, child. Good for you. Oh, thank you. Okay. So the other things are leaving. Okay, they're leaving. And then Shamea said, hey, Britt, can I talk to you real fast, girl? Real simple. We then see that before Cynthia left, she went and talked to Shamea. She told Shamea, Britt told Portia and myself that you still talking shit about her and that you show her text. So Shamea is trying to confront Britt on what Cynthia said that Britt said to Portia. Okay, so Britt, so when you did say Portia wasn't a good friend, you know what I'm saying, and other things, you know what I'm saying, you did show me y'all texts. Now I didn't, Britt, I didn't show you no text. Britt, why you lying? Britt, I did not do any of that. Britt, like you did when it was me, you, and Kelly, you did. So technically they show a flashback of Britt, Shamea, Kelly hanging out 2 months prior, but this was before Shamea and Portia talked. Okay, so technically, if Britt told Portia that Shamea is still talking shit, that's technically not true because that would have happened before her and Portia talked. So whatever she said before was before, but she was not still talking shit. Okay, I'm like technically Brit did lie. if she made it seem as if in current time, since you and her talked, she's still telling me shit that you said because that wasn't true. So maybe Shami's point was, Brit, I didn't tell you shit after me and Portia talked. I don't know. Okay. But that to me that does mean that Brit knowingly told Portia something happened earlier to make it seem like Shamea was doing things currently, and that's shady. You know what I'm saying? Because even I said, well, damn, Shamea still talking shit. And it's like, no, that was stuff that happened before her and Portia talked. So, fair to me, that's fair game. If we beefing and I'm talking shit, was whatever. And anyway. So Shamea then say, Britt, I feel like you're jealous. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting close with your friends. Okay, I'm taking your friend Kelly from you. I feel like you're jealous. Shamea, girl, no one's jealous. You know what I'm saying? You talk shit about Portia. You do, Shamea. Shamea. Shamea, you talk shit about Portia. And they're back and forth in it. Okay. Shameen then say, I guess that's why you can't take shots because you take shots and get naked like you did in Grenada. Faith wearing clothes tonight. I said, well, I mean, she does have clothes on. Wait, where is that? She had clothes on tonight. Okay. And then Britt then say, oh, did you see your daughter when you went to Miami? I said, why she bring up the daughter? Don't do that because you were crying about your daughter in Grenada, and I thought you were actually going through something, but you were in Miami taking shots. I said, girl, not you insinuating that Shamea made up her daughter being sick. I was like, girl, now why would you say that? Now, from what we saw, Britt did not say anything directly about the child, but she did insinuate that Shamea would lie about her daughter being how sick her daughter was. And I'm like, first of all, the husband called Shamea. It wasn't as if Shamea like this out the blue shared, oh, it's like we heard the phone call and she broke down after the phone call. So even to make it seem as if Shamea lied and the daughter wasn't as sick, but by the time she got back to the city or whatever, the daughter was fine. So I was like, girl, she's like, don't do that. Don't speak on my daughter, Britt. Don't do that. Don't speak. Look, don't do that. Okay, I might have been, taking shots in Miami, but I wasn't popping pills. Like I was an old bad girl popping pills. But Shamia said, at least I wasn't popping pills like you were in Grenada. Now we know that Kelly brought that up. Then we seen Claudia Jordan on Carlos King's podcast thing say one of the housewives texted her and said Britt was popping pills that she had in an Advil bottle, but it wasn't Advil in Grenada. So now Shamea is saying, yeah, you popping pills in Grenada. I might have been popping shots of tequila, but you were popping pills in Grenada. I said, what is happening? Oh, why are you lying? You were lying about your about Britt said you were lying about what your daughter was going through. I was like, girl, wrong road. Because I think we all know her younger daughter is medically sick on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? So, and what's crazier is when Britt was in Grenada and Shamia was crying, I love you, Shamia. I will be there. I'm your friend. Again, fake and phony and bullshitty because why would you then say your child wasn't really sick? Who does that? So yeah, I would have probably punched Britt in the throat. Okay, punched her in the throat. Once you say out your mouth, I was lying about what my daughter was going through. We have to fight. And Shamia said, you know what? You are a pill popper. Okay. You are a pill popper. You're a lady of the night. Keep your clothes on, Britt. I was like, girl, what is going on? Well, I heard they said that you cheat on your husband. Okay. I'm like, what who said that? When that happened? Now Shamia did then say the rumors of her cheating on Gerald have been spread. That child has always been said, but it ain't true. I said, but girl, who been saying it though? What happened? Messy. Okay. We have a quick scene with Drew and Ralph. I don't like Ralph. I think Ralph is an opportunist. I think Ralph is trying to use all of the fame he can get from being Drew's husband because I think he knows once they are divorced and they're not in that house and he has no reason to be on the show, that he no one would care about him because he tries to play nice when he wants attention. Ralph called Drew in the basement. Hey, can I come up here and talk to you real fast? Sure. You know, his whole, I just wonder how we got here. Drew, I just wonder, like, how in life, how do we get here? You, nigga, what you mean? And she said, yeah. hmm And you can tell that Drew is used to him trying to gaslight her because she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so Drew brought up how the kids were out of town, her mom, because again, her and Robert are going through things. So she brought up how outside of co-parenting, her and Ralph don't talk. So, this is like one of the most conversations they've had recently. He then brings up, it's hard for me to co-parent with you, but now I think we need like a new relationship, where we were married and we're not, we're going through divorce, whatever. We need a new relationship of co-parenting to happen to make things easier. Okay, but I can't co-parent that much because I can't be with the kids Monday through Friday. I can't take them to school. But the court order had, I think, Drew as primary custody, whatever. So he was like, I can't do all that. She's like, first of all, you can always just call and ask me, for permission to get them. You're their dad. Like they need you, and I would never want to prevent you from being their dad. So to me, I feel like it's a double-edged sword. Ralph, if y'all in the same house, ask her. Now, if she says no, I get it. But if you haven't even asked her to be able to be more of a father figure when you're in the house and y'all are divorcing, you can't make it seem as if you can't be their dad, full time and whatnot. She's like, just ask me, just ask, have a conversation or whatever. But again, you're their dad and they need their dad. And they both say how they want, we want what we want. We got our great kids out this marriage or whatever, and we're gonna be cool. And I'm like, and they still not divorced. This was last year. They're still not divorced. Anyway, we had a quick scene with Phaedra and that man. Phaedra is not with that man. Okay. Phaedra paid that man to be around her. Okay. I don't care. His name Chi Chi. He 32. Oh, we've been dating for like 4 months. He's 32. She's 52. He's 20 years her junior. Okay. Cradle robber. Okay. Anyway. But, you know, this a part of me feel like every scene Phaedra did was fake. Yes, she's a great mom, and I'm not saying her or her kid was fake, but she stages these scenes to make it seem like I'm a regular mom. I'm dating someone, and no, this is a pay for TV relationship. Because even on the after show, they say, "Are y'all still dating?" We know he's around. We go out. He's a great guy. No, we dated for the show. She met him on like a speed dating thing on Married to Medicine, and he's also, he used to be friends with Apollo, so Apollo knew that man. And that also came out on Married to Medicine. But child, Phaedra ain't gonna fool me. Anyway, both one, y'all take one good second. Take 30 good seconds, okay? And like the video. Y'all think Aaron Pierre was dating Tiana Taylor when he was on doing a little dance? I wonder. Anyway, the charity event, which was the ending of the episode. Now before the charity event, we see 3 days prior, Angela and Drew went and met up with messy gay man Marcus, okay, who went to that event saying, "Oh, I know your husband, child, and he cheating." So messy Marcus brought some other man with him, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, we your husband at the restaurant." But when? When was it there? Like maybe around June. Lies. Like Charles was teach was coaching the big three in on TV at that time. He wasn't even around here. He was at somewhere working. So she felt like y'all lying. Who put you up to the lie? Okay. He write a name on the phone and allegedly he said it was Phaedra. Okay, that messy Phaedra sent messy Marcus to mess with Angela and or Charles. Now, I know some folks said, now why would Phaedra do that? She just came on the show. If you don't recall, even in the scenes, Phaedra kept being shady about Charles even being married. Oh, I didn't know he was married. He's a fun guy. Like she always made it seem as if he not even really married for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Even in the confessionals, she would imply stuff. So when folk make it seem like, well, why would it be Phaedra? We don't know. We don't know. We're not gonna act like Phaedra has not been, being slick, sly, messy shade when it comes to Angela and Charles. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know Charles. I know Charles, but I don't know Angela. Even how she claims to be friends with Ralph, but not really cool with Drew. Why you know these ladies' husbands and not the women? Anyway, so again, they got that information from the people. Okay, now at the actual event, so Charles has a charity. Excuse me, has a charity. He's had it since around 2017. It's giving back to the community, trying to feed, kids who don't get meals, trying to feed the homeless, the people in shelters or whatever. So again, they try to feed. Like I think they want to feed. I can't remember, but they wanted to raise 50K at this event. They raised 107,000. I said, well, come on now, double the thing. Wanting to raise 50K and raising double that is amazing. Okay. Again, they want to feed the peoples around here. Okay. Now, it was a nice little child. I don't know why Shamea got the hood on at all. And I remember when the photographs of them in these outfits came out, we said, was that the same event? Because no one looked like they were going to the same event. But child, I guess it was what it was. But it was a big old event with good take with child. And unlike Brit's event, there was food. Unlike Brit's event, everyone had a seat. Okay, Brit's brunch was a sad day. Okay, but here it was fine. Now they had them at two separate tables. Okay, we see Brit's husband around there. We see Phaedra, what that man she paid for around there. Um, and stuff and whatnot. Now, Shamea husband wasn't there. Why? Because girl, this was the time to bring your husband. Because even seeing Charles interact with Phaedra's fake boyfriend was cool. You know what I'm saying? So Gerald should have came and met the guy, but he never is around here. Okay. Now they gave away some some honorable awards, whatever. They even gave one up to Portia. Portia's grandfather's charity. I think it's called Hosea. I think it's called Hosea Williams or whatever. That's a charity in Atlanta, and so they were honoring other charities that, also do things for the city. And so they honored Portia as well. And they also spoke about, how again, also, okay, because she around here, right? Now remember, Portia did not go to Shamea's showcase, but she came to this event. And Angela said, like, she's going through a lot right now, but I'm happy she still showed up for me and came. And so they honored Portia for her grandfather charity, which made her she got because she brought up Blondie because Blondie did a lot of work with the charity, and so that made her be she was emotional and whatnot. Okay, she was whew. She had a moment where she had to get up and go in the back, kind of calm herself down or whatever. Because death hits you and grief hits you, child. and the mom was noticed. So she was able to get up, and it was great that everyone got up to rally around her to support her. And when I kept hearing Brit, it's okay, girl, I got you. Yeah, girl, it's okay. Come on, mom. Brit is a fake friend because the same way she was doing that with Shamea, and now she said Shamea's fake, girl. The baby ain't really sick. You know what I'm saying? So, just hearing her trying to be Portia's friend, I was like, get out of my face. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Okay. So, events going on, they then got up from the tables and chatted and went around here and sat down and had a conversation. Because on these shows that all the cast have to go somewhere and talk. So, Angela brings up, I was ambushed at Kelly's event, by the guy Marcus or whatever. And I kept on thinking, like, who sent him? It was Kelly's event. And I found it really weird, Kelly. It happened in the middle of your event. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, could it be Kelly? Child, could it be? We don't know. She then said, but when I mentioned to Charles said, well, who invited the guy? Because again, how would the guy, how would he know that she would be there? So a couple of things were weird. One, how did he know she was there? She was there, Charles there. How did he get past production? So it do feel like someone on the cast got him to that point. Even if he was a messy fan, someone got him close enough to Angela because no one knows who was going to show up at these events. And remember, this is her first season. So she's not even popular. We don't really know who she is. You know what I'm saying? So it do feel like someone on the show got this popping off. Okay. So I don't know. So, who could it be? I wonder, was it Brit? Because we had words. Now, again, my thing say, did Phaedra play dirty or did Brit redo it? Because remember, Brit and Angela had a little bit of, beef as well. Okay, so who could it be? So me and Drew we put our Nancy Drew hat on, okay, and we got to the bottom of whatever, and we invited him here. Child Marcus walked in. First of all, he needed a haircut or a brush. He walked in smiling, and when Charles saw him, Charles said, "Hell no, no, get out." Get your motherfucking ass out of here right now. Charles is upset, and not because of my. His point was you were disrespectful to my wife. You disrespected my wife. Get the fuck out. And I said, Charles don't play. Okay, he like no. Hell no. Nah. And you see Angela trying to like, no, Charles, it's okay. Let him finish. No, trust me. Let him finish. Charles, trust me. And you then see Charles and Angela kind of back and forth. And Charles' point was he messy. He played you. He was rude to you. He came up to you and you know what I'm saying or whatever. So he should not be here. And because Charles is not thinking about the show, he thinking, I want to beat this man's ass. Okay. He was the enforcer point, girl. He wanted enforcement shit. Anyway, so Charles say, fuck it. This some bullshit. I'm leaving. But he does say, because Marcus was like, I want to say sorry to you, Angela, and also to you. I want to apologize to both of y'all for my mess. Charles was like, you know what? You were disrespectful to me as a man. And you know what? You lucky. You hear me? You lucky. And I said, girl, what does that mean? To me, that meant you lucky the cameras is around because I want to whoop your ass. Okay. And Charles then say, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go. This is crazy. Because again, he not really about the show like that at this point in time. Okay. So Charles allows Messy Marcus to stay. And so Messy Marcus sit down and he talks to the girls. And he like, somebody here don't see it for Angela. They're like, well, who the fuck is it? Say who it is. Phaedra. You're the godfather in Atlanta. I'm scared to say something. I'm saying she controls all the things in Atlanta. Now, do I believe Phaedra is a all-knowing godfather, godmother of Atlanta? I mean, no. But do I feel like she maybe has some pull in Atlanta? I do. Not that, what? Me? You think I did it? Now why would I do that? I am innocent, look, I am innocent. This ain't me. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? My whole marriage was ruined on TV. Why would I ever come for anyone else's marriage? Like you said, that Candy and Todd were trying to diddy bop Portia back in the day. Phaedra acting like she don't do low down dirty shit. Girl, yes you do. That's how we know you. Okay? So they back and forth. Okay. Mark then said before Kelly's event, he was given some information in an envelope, how they have how him and Phaedra have some mutual friend in common named Junebug. Okay. Well, Marcus was mad he ended up leaving. But he did say it was Phaedra. Okay, that part we got. He's from Athens and whatnot. That connect. Anyway, I don't care. So she like, you sent him. Why would you? I tried to. You wanted to put drama in my marriage. I thought I could trust you, Phaedra. Okay, now Phaedra again denying. I don't have nothing. I didn't do nothing. You know, you deflecting. And you deflecting. You don't even know me. And it was this where it got weird. Phaedra said I didn't do nothing. Angela believes she did something. Okay. When Angela then say, you know what, Phaedra, you called, they said, how did you know? When production asked Angela, how did you find Marcus? She said, Phaedra called me and gave me this information. I said, bitch, what? When she said after Kelly's event, she got a phone call from Phaedra. And Phaedra said, oh, I think I know that man. His name was Marcus so and so. And he worked at. So her point was, if Phaedra don't know him, how does she know the man first and last name and where he work at? How? I said, child, it beats me. Okay, so she like, you gave me his information. That's how I found him. Phaedra didn't say, well, you know what? You out here researching or whatever, but you not telling anybody that you're in foreclosure. I said, now what the hell would it come from? That let me know Phaedra did do some kind of deep dive search into Angela, because how would you know she has a house in foreclosure unless you looked into her? You know what I'm saying? And if you only there for 2 weeks, why would you waste your time looking to see? That means you did a background check and file her foreclosure. And again, it's not her house; it's a property she owns. She owns 5 of them. Okay, so again, I'm like, that mean you was looking into that lady. Okay, anyway, so girl, that ain't no tea. I don't mind that, but if you looked up my information, what else did you find? I'm saying she said you up your old from one failed friend group to the next one. Here you go with the same old bullshit. Okay. Now, at this point, the show gets real frantic, chaotic, because we have Angela and Phaedra fussing back and forth, but we also then have Shamea and Brit fussing back and forth. And I'm not, and you, I had to listen to the argument over and over to hear all 4 people. It was weird because as Angela and Phaedra are going over the foreclosure that Angela said she don't care about or whatever, um, they're kind of back and forth in it. It was really, really weird. But when Angela asked Phaedra, you let your kids see their daddy? I said, no, where that come from? What happened? Which makes Shamia then say, see, Britt brought up my daughter too, asking if I was taking her being sick. Brit then said, well, no, all I said was you were hanging out with Kelly in Miami. No, you implied that she faked her daughter being sick. You absolutely did that. Shamia then said, and I had to walk away because I was going to beat her ass. Is that a threat, Shamia? When Shamia yelled out, no, you threaten people with guns. That's what you do, you whore. I said, not a whore. And it was crazy how it was 2 full arguments going on. And I'm like, it was just so chaotic to me. And if you did not re-listen to them back and forth, you would miss Shamia saying, no, You threaten 4 people with guns, you fucking whore. You threaten Kenya with a gun. That's you. That's what you do. You threaten people, not me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You then hit analysts in the Phaedra. It is so sad that this is how things end. This is sad. It was crazy. So Brit, her husband, get up and walk away. As Britt said to production, take my mic off. These women are low lives. They are. I'm not doing this with you, girl. Not you calling them low lives. Then we see Cynthia and Portia and Shamea. No, Cynthia, Portia, and Phaedra. And Cynthia said, "Well, I told Shamea that Britt told us that she was talking about you. Why you do that, Cynthia? No, I didn't want. You should have never told Shamea that. Because the way I treat Shamea hasn't changed. Okay, I'm the same to Shamea. I didn't want to bring it up because that's if she wants to be that, that's on her. So no, Cynthia, you should have never did. I'm like, girl, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? And it kind of ended with everyone leaving. We seen Britt walking off. We seen Angela saying, "Okay, thank y'all, bye." She walked. Everyone just kind of walks off, and then we see the little cars at the end. Britt using her clean slate to open up a new agency. We don't believe it. She's also working hard to release Bare and Naked, and we don't care about it. Okay. We seen Kelly. After 3 years, Kelly finally closed the doors on her marriage in September of 2024. She's preparing to open a new doors to her City Springs Nana's Chicken and Waffles location sometime in 2025. And she also brought up early in the episode, Kelly did, that the reason she did not open a restaurant while still being legally married because if you are married, it's community property. So she waited until the divorce was final before she, did something. She will be double checking the guest list for the grand opening. Girl, please do. Make sure they don't fat through. For Shamea, while baby Shiloh continues to make progress, Shamea has a new surrogate and hopes to welcome a baby boy soon. Girl, her single never had was released in March of 2025. She hopes their listeners don't talk over it this time. I think folks liked it. For Phaedra, Phaedra is booked and busy and adding more jobs to her resume until the boys retire her. Meanwhile, her and Chocolate Prince Chi Chi is still satisfying her sweet tooth. They are made for TV and that's it. Okay. For Drew, her album Identity to Me was released also in March. Now Drew had an album come out where Shamea had a song. But they both came out in March of 2025. While her music career is on the high, her relationship with Ralph is still on a low as he continues to reside in the basement apartment in the basement apartment in the sky with an end to the divorce nowhere in sight because they're still married. Okay. And then for Angela, she sold 3 houses, but 2 have unfortunately been lost when they went to foreclosure. However, she is staying cool under pressure with her next big adventure. I think it's called Fanchi, a line of fans, which is smart. Very, very smart. No word on when she and Charles would renew their vows because they was going to renew their vows once she showed them houses. But child, they got is some money not around there. And that was the whole episode. I was like, girl, again, chaotic end to the season. I blame a lot of people. Again, the best part of the whole season was Angela. And I like Kelly, but I think seeing Kelly on the after show and how like she's stuck in Shimmy City, I don't like that. I need her next season to be her own person because I do feel like next season will have everyone back except Brit. I think we know Brit won't be back. I think Cynthia don't have to come back. Um, Even without Cynthia, the show could possibly be okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Phaedra was on what happened live. It was her, Ariana, who was Kim Zodiac's youngest daughter, and then also Dustin from we know what Dustin Ross, who's from here, from Michigan. I don't like Phaedra. I don't. I love Dustin. I can't wait to hear what he says on the Carlos King podcast they do on Mondays because I feel like because he didn't say much on here, and I'm like, ain't no way Dustin was there and he didn't say shit. So I don't know what got cut out. I know it was pre-taped. But I want to see what his thoughts are tomorrow on the Carlos, him, because him, Carlos, and also Claudia. We're gonna see about that. And she again denied having anything to do with the Bessie Marcus, or whatever. When Andy said, "Well, girl, you were benched from the show," because she can't. Well, I left the show. You said I've been gone for years, and I was really successful gone. He said, "Well, you were benched, meaning you did do some shady shit that got you benched. You can't make it seem as if you chose to leave, and you know what I'm saying. It was a whole messy situation. So you coming back on some mess is kind of on brand. Is you kind of on brand, okay? But other than that, it was boring. Okay. Anyway, y'all, look, I did not mean for this to be so long and whatnot. But y'all make sure to like the video, okay, subscribe to my channel and everything. I will more than likely be live tonight at around 9 p.m. I still have to do a recap of Kenya's YouTube thing. I may have that up today as well. I'm not sure. But again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I gotta go. Bye.